After years of consistent, brutal training, I finally hit a 405 bench press. Definitely my proudest achievement yet, and I can't tell you how happy I am. Not only in terms of what was displayed, but how you guys were supportive throughout the entire experience. You motivate me to become a better lifter, because it's not just about me at this point. I have to live up to a certain standard and show you guys what's possible. Elevate your mindset. Not saying you're gonna look like me, but we can all strive to master our physiques and break through our perceived limitations. You've stifled yourself for so long when in fact you've been capable of so much more. The entire time, this has indeed been a fact. But because of negative thinking or people constantly trying to push you down, because maybe they're doing other things that you aren't, you've noceboed yourself. And that's why I'm a big believer of learning more about proper programming and being fully committed to the process. This is a game of time, not a year or two. For many of you, it could be a decade or more to acquire a certain level of excellence. The point is, we keep going, we don't stop, and we never settle for less when we know for an absolute fact that we're capable of more. So once more, thank you so much. It's a great honor to be in this position and have a community of real lifters who care for each other and who aren't weak-minded. I love what we've built. I love interacting with you guys, seeing your amazing feedback, and when you send me your transformation, or just let me know how my advice has impacted you. Or you give me some information too, and we intermingle. We're constantly exchanging information. That's the best thing ever, guys. It's hard to find something authentic like that, not only in this day and age, but when we have a fitness following that's of this capacity. Usually things tend to get a little bit less personal, but I haven't found that to be the case yet. I feel like I know a lot of you, even though we haven't really met in real life, but we're just that tight. There's a connection that is difficult to explain, and for that, I will always be grateful to all of you. I don't care if you're a hater or a supporter. No matter who you are, you have contributed in a positive way to what this channel entails. So really, much love. Now, with that said, I've had a lot of guys ask me since doing the 405 bench, Alex, what are your goals moving forward? So in today's video, I will outline what that exact plan is, because I feel like every time I announce a goal, it increases the chances of it happening. And this is something that I have to credit Greg Plitt for. He always said, you want to tell everyone about what you're going to do. Don't just leave it in the shadows. Otherwise, if you fail, it's only yourself that's going to be accountable. But if you let the whole world know, now you're disappointing a lot of people. So I like having that pressure on me. What can I say? And Greg Plitt truly changed my life. In fact, I was listening to his motivational videos the day before I did that bench press. And I always check in year after year just to see what people are creating in regards to his older content. I have my playlists and MP3 files as well. So that's just a little side thing. But anyway, let's talk about the goals, all right? The first thing I'll say is that I am in fact capable of more. I don't think that 4 plates is my limit. In fact, it's probably a lot higher than that if I'm willing to do certain things. One of those things would be getting really fat. In that case, I would say 4.5 plus is probably not unrealistic, but I don't want to go through that. My health is far more important. I want to live to 100 plus, if possible. We can't control certain things, right? So what would be more reasonable? Well, 4 plates is 184 kilos. What's 200 kilos? 440. I did that on the slingshot bench press, and many would consider that to be a future method. So I think I can do it at some point. I believe within the next 5 to 7 years, it's totally doable. Perhaps even less. I honestly have no clue. At this point, I would give you this analogy. It's like playing RuneScape. You get your strength level from 1 to 90. That takes a lot of hours, a lot of grinding, right? What happens when you go from 90 to 99? It's like redoing the entire process, but you're only going up by 9 levels. What if you go from 99 to 120? Well, it's like doing it multiple times. And that's kind of how I would describe this elite benching experience. 365 to 405 took years of effort. Like, it wasn't easy at all. I had to sacrifice so much. But it wasn't even elite. I went from advanced to elite. So what's elite going up a little bit more percentage points? I don't even know. I haven't the slightest clue, guys. I haven't pushed myself that hard. And what are the risk implications? Does that increase the chance of destroying my shoulders? What about the concept of absolute load and how that affects recovery? There's a lot of unanswered questions because I haven't been there yet. But what I would speculate is that it would be even harder than the road to 405. But I don't think it's unrealistic. That's the thing. I truly believe that I have the natural potential to bench 440, 200 kilos. But it's not going to happen anytime soon. In fact, one of the things I'd like to announce is that I need to take a break from this. Not from making videos. In fact, there's going to be a lot more of that. But just constantly pushing myself to this level in raising the bench. 4 plates is what I always wanted. I got it. Now it's time to back off a little bit, focus on other goals, let other parts of my body catch up. And I'll get to that in a moment. So I think within the next 5 years, I'm probably going to get into it. It could be less than that, like I said. So no confirmation about when that would occur. But I do think that at some point in my lifting journey, it's going to happen. And right now, that's not going to be the main focus. In regards to other exercises, like the overhead press, I think 250 would be reasonable. That's 25 pounds more. I can't see that being harder than getting a 440 bench in terms of the progression needed to get to that point. But I think a step beyond that would be 275. Like, how freaking sick would that be, you know? So we'll see how that goes. And that, again, that's a long-term thing. Maybe I can add 5 pounds a year to my overhead press. So I'm not stressing about when these things would occur. I just know that when I'm in my 30s, that's when I'm truly going to be at my peak, quote unquote. So that's all I can say in regards to the presses. Now, in regards to body composition, I want to get 17-inch arms. They're currently at 16.5. So again, that can be a similar journey to the strength numbers. I feel that when I have that level of performance, the mass is just going to follow, because I do follow a training system in which maximum hypertrophy and strength are simultaneously built. So far, the muscle building and upper body strength goals are long-term, with the exception of the weighted pull-up. And I had said earlier this year that I want to do 4 plates, and that hasn't changed. However, I did gain a good deal of fat. In fact, I regained the weight. 185, bro. Yeah, not 160, 165. It happened. Okay, I wasn't stupid lean when I did it. So what? Still hard as hell. Never lifted anything like that before. And, when I did the 385, I was 178. So it's not that much more. I would still consider it like an insane improvement of raw strength. So that means if I were to compete, I'd be a 181 doing 4 plates. And I think I can actually do that. Again, being 100% honest with you. So I gotta lose some weight. I'm a bit too fluffy. But what's cool is that I'm leaner than the last time I was bear mode. I can see my definition a bit more. My face is not as bloated. I'm sure you guys could all see that. It's not a super fat face. I still got a little bit of definition. Obviously, the bicep vein has diminished tremendously, but not that fluffy. I mean, I am to a certain extent, but not what I thought I was going to be at. So, got a cut, and in that process, I'm going to get the pull-up at the same time. So my relative strength is going to increase. Going to be building the vertical pulls. So that's an exercise that you don't necessarily have to gain weight for. And I'm pretty close to hitting already, so that's going to go well. Now, if I'm going to lose weight again, I'm going to get back to where I was at the start of 2021. It brings me to this dilemma, and I would love to hear your feedback on this. I really want to know what you guys think, because I think it would be an extremely rare opportunity, something that you probably don't see because there's so many liars out here. Seeing as I'm a lifetime real natural, which is my greatest achievement, by the way. If I would have done 4 or 5 as a fake natty, it wouldn't be impressive. Even though there are a lot of steroid users who can't do that. I think they just don't know how to train, to be honest with you. Make them use the conjugate system and grind it out for 10, 20 years, see what happens. Not saying everyone's going to get there, but there's a lot of misinformation. So I did that. What would happen? You see the muscle mass. You see where I'm at weight-wise. You can tell what I look like, right? What would happen if I got shredded? For real. Sub 10% body fat. Where would my strength be at? And how would my physique appear? After training for all this time, an elite lifter, quote unquote, would I be completely sucked up? Would my T levels crash? How terrible or good would I look? What if I did cardio the entire time in addition to calisthenics while following a plant-based diet? How would that look like? I'm curious. And when I did my cut last year, I was this close to doing it. I was 50-50. But seeing as it was going to be wintertime, I wanted that 405 bench. And I got close to it in 2020, but then global events happened and I put my goals aside. So I ended up losing some strength in that process. And that's why I was like, okay, fuck it, let's get lean. I might as well do it. And I'm happy that I did so. Otherwise, I'd probably be 200 pounds by now. So I think it had to happen in this order. But now for that next step, if I know that I'm going to be in maintenance mode for the upper body, I don't care about getting 410 or 415 right now on the bench. If I'm just like chill with what I got, what would happen if I went down to the low 150s or even 140s? How lean would I be? I think Jeff Nippard was 140 when he competed in bodybuilding. I think Nick Strength and Power was like 148. What would I look like? And I'm short. So what would I look like at 145? Is that even a realistic number for me to get at this point? Have I put on too much muscle? Probably not. But like, it's something that I think about. And it'd be interesting to see what the comparisons are between me and a guy who's like 160, 170 shredded. And how far would my performance dip? Would I get injured in that process? There's so many things to consider here. And I want you guys to let me know how you feel about this, because I'm going to be reading all these comments, okay? But yeah, I'm strongly considering it. Get the single digit body fat percentage, which would also unlock my pull-up goals. And maybe I can get back and doing the one arms again, weighted. Maybe some skill work, ring work, stuff like that. And then just seeing how strong I am and how muscular I appear. So just please let me know what you think about this idea. All right, so with that said, let's talk about the final goal, which I did talk about early this year, but I didn't really follow through with that. I really focused on the bench press specialization. That was my sole objective, to the point where everything was in the back seat. But now I'm committed because I got my goal and it's time to move on to other stuff. So what am I talking about? Training the legs hard again. This year, I probably did less than 10 workouts for them. They didn't shrink, they look the same, and they're still pretty strong. I bet I can deadlift in the 500s right now. Squat, I haven't the slightest clue. That's been God knows how long. But all I do know is that my legs are not where they should be. There's definitely a huge imbalance compared to my benching performance to what will be displayed on the squat and dead. And I'm the only one to blame for that. It's not genetics. This is purely me being a lazy asshole who also didn't care about it. I was very satisfied with my aesthetic legs, and I still am. But I think from a strength perspective, it would be cool to have a bit more balance going on. So what I'm saying is that I do plan on going pretty intense with the lower body workouts. The same amount of effort that you saw me do on the bench, it's going to be applied to the squat and the deadlift, but more so the deadlift, because again, I don't really care about the barbell back squat. That would purely be a side effect as a result of using it with max effort variations, getting stronger the good mornings, the belt squat, etc. Like, I don't see a logical reason to specialize in that when I can get all the muscle building benefits I need from doing a belt squat, which requires less load. So from a stimulus to fatigue standpoint, I find it better for my needs, right? And size-wise, I'm already happy, but I will get stronger at the back squat. I would say 500 as a short-term goal could be pretty cool. Don't know what happened after that point, but I don't think that's unrealistic at all. Like, I think it would be almost impossible for me not to get this if I'm actually training hard. And for a deadlift, hey, maybe I can go for 585, 600, either conventional or sumo. I did buy a deadlift bar, so that's going to be fun to use, and I got some 100-pound plates. So that allows me to go heavier on the trap bar deadlifts using the low and high handles, and it makes it a bit better with the deadlift setup I got here, because my cap plates are not really the best for pulling. So with the 100-pounders, and then I have all the other ones on the side, this form's gonna be slightly safer and stronger overall. So I got a deadlift bar and a buffalo bar, but I'm waiting for that too. So both these have not arrived yet, okay? On top of that, I have a freaking reverse hyper, which I've been wanting for years, but because of the space limitations, I didn't buy it. But then, Garage Gym Reviews, yo, much love to Coop, he made a video on the West Side Scout Hyper. So I got one, and it's literally right here folded up against the wall. I can pull out anytime, and again, with those 100-pounders, I can go stupid heavy on the exercise. And I'm already quite strong at it, to be honest with you. But I'm not surprised because I used to do them at the gym, and I've always been posterior chain focused. So that's really where my head is at. I want to get my lower body to a level that will be comparable to my upper, because that's really where the specialty's been for most of these years, with the exception of 2016, 2017. Back then, I was a savage with the lower body. And for you guys who were there, you know what I'm talking about. 655 hack deadlift. That is serious. I don't care if it's unconventional. So overall, I'm super excited. And in this process as well, I'm gonna probably do cardio every single day. It's beautiful outside. The curfew is gonna be done with. And that's another thing, guys. Like, I haven't been able to go out. Like in Montreal, there was a curfew till 8 o'clock. And then it got elevated to 9:30. So I had to be mostly in here, which is okay considering that I work from home. But there's times where you want to go out and it's late at night, you want to go for a run, you can't do it. But now everything's going to be coming back to normal. There's going to be less restrictions overall. And it's just like looking good for the summer. And in that entire experience, I can bring you different types of content as well. So look out for stuff like that. But yeah, guys, there's not much else for me to say. This is just me speaking my mind in a raw way. I plan on getting the 185 pull-up, possibly getting shredded, and then taking my lower body to another level. If there's anything else that you'd be curious of seeing in me, well, let's hear it in the comment section. And beyond that, I think we're done for today's video. So once more, thank you so much for your long-term support and encouraging me to get this 4-plate bench, because I really mean it when I say that I couldn't have done it without you guys. So much love. I'll talk to you all in the next video.